So we're here with Hayden. You might have seen the first 2 minutes of this on Periscope before the whole thing fell apart. Hayden, a 1-1 draw. We're in the hat for the fourth qualifying round, but I have to say that feels like a missed opportunity to be in it, already be in the fourth round rather than having to go to a replay.
Of course, it does. When you concede late goals in any game, you wouldn't deny it is a missed opportunity. Albeit, I'm not downhearted. Of course, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed for the players. I'm disappointed for the club and the supporters. But 11 v 11 on Tuesday, I have every confidence that we'll go to Weston and finish the job.
It felt like we were in control of that game before a red card with 20 minutes to go. Have you any complaints about that decision, and how did you see that impacting the last 20 minutes or so?
Well, first and foremost, I would have to agree it was a red card, and to be critical of young Jerry, that's a young player that needs to learn to stay on his feet and make a better decision. But this is a young man that's done exceptionally well for us. I think he's got a very big future, and this is the harsh reality of football. The harsh reality of football is, as a young player, you play too much on emotion. He's been in danger of doing that today, and you need to defend with your head rather than your heart. If you stay on your feet and you just jockey the opponent, then obviously the problem goes away. But this is football. This is football, and this is a young player that will improve, and he'll learn from the mistake of today.
And in the similar area of the pitch, as we're entering injury time, we then give away a penalty. How frustrating was that? And again, any complaints about that decision?
No, I think it was a penalty, albeit from this angle. As you can see, you can imagine there's probably 20 players in between myself and the ball, so I couldn't see it clearly. The truth is, the right back position was becoming a bit of an issue. Simon Cooper didn't start the game, not because of his heel injury, because the team played so well at Haringey, and so it was the right decision to keep the same team. And again, Tutu did a marvellous job today. In the preparation, he completed his fitness test successfully. He warmed up successfully with the players. During the warm-up, there was no reoccurrence of the injury. So on the face of it, he's fit to play, and Simon was the perfect replacement in that situation. He's a player that the Kingstonian players know as a centre-half, but this is a guy that's played for probably 5 years for me as a right back. Okay. And so it was an obvious choice. Unfortunately, he suffered a reoccurrence of his injury, which meant more disruption. It meant another change. And I think that Gus is a player that gave absolutely everything for the team, as he always does. Whether he plays well or whether he doesn't, no one can ever deny that he puts a shift in, as they say, and he fights for the team. And I think the only thing that beat Gus today was a little bit of tired legs.
Speaking of that right back area, we had Sean Clessy on the bench today. Does the fact that we had 3 different right backs playing, and the fact that he was still an unused substitute, does that say something about where he is fitness wise?
Sean was unfit to play. Sean was named, you can name 7 subs. At one point it looked as though in the event of an emergency he would be able to play. But Sean saw a specialist yesterday. He needs an MRI scan on his knee. There's a doubt whether he's damaged his meniscus, and so Sean will have an MRI scan during the week to see whether he can return to training, whether he needs further rehabilitation, or the worst case scenario is he might even need an operation. And so, in answer to your question, Sean was on the team sheet, but Sean ultimately was not fit to play.
Did we get away with one at the end there? It seemed, they deep into injury time, they've had a header. Doesn't really feel like many players have appealed for it. Certainly the Western officials after the game were pretty bemused by the decision. What did you make of the decision to disallow that goal?
I think in football the referee is always right. And so I will say that in this instance the referee made another very good decision.
Okay. Yeah, we can all read between the lines a little bit there. I don't want to go away from the first 20 minutes of the second half, where up until that red card, Was that as well as we played this season?
Yeah, I think it was a defining moment in our season, a defining moment in the game. In the first half, we continue to grow in our organisational and defensive skills, and we're seeing a team now that's really, really difficult to break down. You know, that's the first rule of football. You know, I have a saying that it's easier to win 1-0 than 4-3. If you looked at our pre-season work, we were having to win 4-3, for example.
Yeah.
Now we're very, very secure. In the second half, we improved with the ball. So we added the solidity and the organisation and the desire to defend, which starts with Louis up top, that's put another great shift in for the team. And we added the quality with the ball that we saw on Monday. And I think we were in complete control of the game. We were deserving of our goal. When we scored, I was confident that we would win. I'll be open. I thought we would probably win by more. And 11 v 11, I think Kingstonian win the game. And ultimately, we'll look back and say that the biggest moment of the game, other than the goal, was the sending off, which obviously changed the dynamic with 20 minutes to go.
Have you any idea at this point about the availability of certain players for Tuesday? You know, be it Simon Cooper, be it players that were injured and weren't in the 11 today. Presumably Jerry's suspension doesn't kick in for a week anyway, so he'll be available.
Jerry will be available. I would doubt very much that Sean will be available on the basis that Sean needs an MRI scan, and I think that will take place on Wednesday. And the specialist has said that it would be very dangerous to play him. If we don't play him, then the results might be more favourable. So I don't expect Sean to be involved. Clearly, I wouldn't expect Simon to be involved. Tom Kavanagh will be involved.
Okay.
He's back from Dubai this evening. So if there's one player that would be pleased it's a draw, it'll be Tom Kavanagh. So you know we're having to deal with 1 or 2 injuries at the moment. But you know some players, some managers, they hide behind injuries. Some managers they cry about injuries. I've got great faith in the squad of players that we have. And I think that's and a great example of that is what we've seen this week. And we've seen someone like Dan Hector come into the team, take his chance, and I think he's really improved us. So, you know, I've got great confidence that we'll finish the job. I'm not concerned about going to Weston. I respect the opponent. I think they have good players, but so do Kingstonian. And Kingstonian now have a team. And we've seen again today, a team that if you want to beat us, you have to kill us, because we fight. We fight for each other, and we fight as a team. And we'll do exactly the same on Tuesday. And I have every confidence that we'll go to Tuesday and we'll win.
How difficult will it be to keep focused on Tuesday with the excitement of the draw on Monday?
Well, hopefully the draw will give an added motivation to do well on Tuesday. You know, if we have a good draw, we know we'll be only 90 minutes away from the pro clubs, and I think the draw will give us a great incentive to really focus to get the job done. You know, obviously the referee's decision, albeit the correct one, changed the dynamics of the game today. But I would ask the question: 11 v 11, I think we win. 10 v 11, the only attempt that they had was the penalty.
Yeah.
And so we still saw a great organisation and a great attitude to the players to be organised, to be solid and to defend. So we'll go there with no fear. We will respect the opponent, and hopefully we can, as I say, we can get the job done.
And with that draw, do you want a home draw against whoever won between Abbey Rangers and Whiteleaf, or do you want to be away to Torquay? Or do you want to play Sutton?
Out of those clubs, I would say Abbey Rangers and Whiteleaf, albeit I'm really cautious about saying things like this because
the equivalent of.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, I mean no disrespect to Abbey Rangers and Whiteleaf, whoever won that game. No, I would, albeit I know that it'll be a great day for the club to play Conference National side, play someone like Torquay, but I would prefer to get into the next round, and then play a really, really big team. But you know, last time I was in this situation with Merstham, we played Ebbsfleet in the fourth qualifying round, that was a team then that were like the millionaires of non-league football, and we beat them. And so if you want to progress in these competitions, you have to face the challenges head on. That's exactly what we're going to do on Tuesday. And my message to the Kingstonian fans is come and join us, come and get behind the boys. As you always do, we're going to need you. But albeit it's going to be a long journey, I think it's going to be a good journey home.
Let's hope so.
Thank you.
We'll see you on the pier. See you Tuesday.
Thank you very much.